Welcome back to Retro ReWire. My name is JJ. We are back for another In the Hunt episode. This time we find ourselves back in Akihabara, Tokyo, Japan. And the footage that you're seeing here was actually filmed a few summers ago, but I wanted to show it because it shows exactly where we are going for today's episode, which is actually a double feature, with the second half going to be filmed at Super Potato, and it's going to be all about Sega. But before we get to the Sega goodness, we're going to show some modifications, and it's going to be here at the Tokyo Radio Department Store Tech Mall. Now, this place houses a number of little shops, a lot of them selling like capacitors, a lot of repair stuff, arcade parts, but there's also a pretty cool shop in here, one that I've been going for a few years, which is Ken-chan's Kadenken. Now, when I first went in here, I bought this V Saturn, and this was a few years ago, but this thing has served me well. Freaking love this machine. And as you can see there, 3,980 yen was the price in 2018. But let's go ahead and get to these modifications, with a lot of them focusing on handheld systems. And there's all sorts of tech gadgets here, some that are beyond my understanding, but definitely things that are very interesting. We have a Game Boy Advance SP coming in at 19,800 yen. And I believe this has like I'm not sure if that's even modified. That could just be like a special edition gold version. But look at the Game Gear here. Look at the clarity on that screen. And the bezels just kind of lit up. That thing is freaking awesome looking. And then we have a Superboy. This one actually is a demo unit that you could play. I spent a few minutes playing that thing. And it's actually quite convincing. Then we have this little light modification coming in at 12,800 yen that kind of just reacts to like music. And then up above, we have a Nomad, which we'll be seeing a lot of in this section. And then we have the PC Engine Express GT with an LCD DRV modification that gives it analog RGB at 15 kilohertz. And that thing, the picture was very clear on that. It was very convincing. Unfortunately, there's a lot of glare, so we can't get like a clear shot. But man, that thing was awesome looking. And then we have Gunpei Shomaden there, just kind of running the Namco Arcade Classic. And then here's the modification coming in at 28,000 yen. And I'm not sure if that includes like an install or just the kit. And then we have a Wonder Swan just kind of playing Riviera there. And then on the right, we have a VMC VMU, and that thing also has a clear, sharp screen. And then we have this that kind of gives me the vibes of like a Game & Watch. And it's running Gradius here, but look at the clarity on this thing. That thing is freaking awesome. And a lot of these things are actually just demo units, just to kind of show off, the kits that he has available for sale. Here we have another Game Gear, and look at the clarity on this thing. Oh man! And then it's running like a homebrew game, Dracula's Castle, I think is what the name of this one is, by Habitsoft. Then here we have a PSP IPS screen, and this thing was so clear. This one had me convinced. I wanted this thing, but it says that it's sold out there, unfortunately. And then here we have one of the most beautiful looking Game Boys that I've seen. Look at the clear casing, the light blue buttons. It has a modification to it. Now the viewing angle isn't so good on this one, but if you're there in person, you'll get an idea of how clear the screen on that thing is. And that thing was really freaking awesome. Here we have like another homebrew game, Gunstream, and this one looks really good for the Game Gear. Haven't heard of it before, but definitely something that I would like to play, based off what I saw there. And then here we have a PC Engine screens. We had a TFT LCD and then an IPS. Look at the IPS screen, like the black levels on that. Again, pardon the glare here. It's kind of difficult to get clear shots, but that IPS screen, it just looks so rich and saturated with deep black levels. So we had Sin and Punishment for 4,800, and above that we have the Genesis Nomad with the RGB DRV modification done to it with Thunder Force 3 running there. And that thing looks freaking awesome too. Then we have another Nomad, and I'm not really sure how the power input for the Nomad works, but that looks like it's running off of a USB type of power, like a micro USB. Could be wrong, but that's the impression that I get. And then we have the Mega SO2 Santa, and then we have some voodoo going on here. Look at this. This Game Gear is just kind of attached to like this glass casing, and it's just kind of projecting the image on there. Now, I wasn't able to get a full view of that, but that's the impression that I got. Then we have a Game Boy Advance in the back, but very cool store. And then here we're going to go to another very cool store. which is Super Potato here in Akihabara. And we're going to focus on a lot of Sega stuff because they do have quite a bit of Sega stuff on their on the second floor, or the first floor of the shop rather. But look at all this stuff. A lot of Sega Genesis, but this episode is really going to focus on Sega Saturn, but we'll quickly go through a few other Sega consoles here. We also have Dreamcast. They got quite a bit of Sega Dreamcast, and I actually didn't film the full Dreamcast section as they have a little bit to the right. But quite a bit of stuff. You know, we have Jet Grind Radio here coming in at 4,268 yen. But now here we go, the main event, the Sega Saturn stuff. And for the Sega Saturn stuff, I thought that I would show a lot of the B-side games, you know, a lot of the lower budget games that are not really, showcased or talked about, because the Sega Saturn does have a rich library. But I do want to show this. Look at this, Tomb Raiders. Definitely like that cover. It's definitely kind of unique. And then before we start showing the games one by one, we'll just do like a sweeping panning shot here. And as you can see, a lot of great selection here. They also had some more stuff in the showcase, which we will take a look at. But a lot of great Saturn titles, and you can spend quite a bit of time just kind of going through the stuff that they have. Now, pricing aside, that I'll leave that up to you guys. But let's just see the games that they have. We have Baku Baku here for the STV Sega Saturn, Steam Gear MASH. Now, this is one that I've been wanting to play for a number of years, ever since I saw it on Game Fan magazine. Then we have Starfighter 3000. I believe this started life on the 3DO, and it also got a PlayStation 1 port. But this is one that I'm kind of interested in. And then we have Lulu, the interactive story of Romain Victor or something. And this one looks like it could be really interesting, but I'm sure that it's tied behind like the Japanese language. That might be a little bit hard. And then we have a zoo simulator, and there seems to be quite a bit of simulation games for the Sega Saturn. And then here we have America Ultra Quiz. Now this is also available on the PlayStation, and a number of these games are also available on the PlayStation, but they could have good music. And then I don't even know what the title to this is, but it's something Saber, and it looks like to be like an action RPG, and I kind of get Magic Knight Ray Earth vibes from it. And then we have the Psychotron. Look at this. We got the White House and St. Peter's Cathedral there. And this could be some funky FMV game. And then we have Drift King 97 by Genki, who's also responsible for the Tokyo Extreme Racer stuff on the Sega Dreamcast. I believe the PS2 also got a release. But here we have a fantastic slot shooting game. And it looks like a puzzler. I don't know. But you also saw that it was available for the PlayStation, as is Zork 1. And again, I have no idea what this is. And then we have Virtual Mahjong. This could be like a strip type of game. And the models on this kind of look like they were developed by Warp. I get a lot of those vibes from that. And then we have GeoBockers. Now this one I think is also available on the PlayStation 1. And I do like the visual style there. It looks like it has like some sprite scaling going on. And then we have Funky Head Boxers. Now this one is kind of hilarious because look at the model on the right there. She kind of has like the Barcelona Football Club color scheme going on. And then we have Virtual Volleyball. Look at those rough models there. But you got to give them credit. What vintage is this? 1995. This is an early Saturn game. Then we have Moon Cradle by Victor. Now Victor had quite a bit of output on the PS1 and the Sega Saturn, and this looks like an early FMV type of game. And then we have Summer Memories Mahjong. This looks like another strip type of game. The more you win, the more you see type of thing. Don't know too much about it, but and then here we have the Making of Night Truth 2, and there's also a Making of Night Truth 1. And I don't know, I have no idea what Night Truth is, but it was the first game that I kind of showed off here. The explanation of the paranormal. So it could be like an FMV anime type game. And then here we have like a puzzle type of game. Kind of interesting character design. Very mid-90s type of vibe there. Then we got a derby type of game, Classic Road. And this one looks like it's featuring some 3D models. Some rough ones, mind you. And then we have Quo Vadis. I'm not really sure what that is, but the cover on this strategy RPG looks freaking awesome. And this is a title that potentially could have awesome music. And then we have Quantum Gate coming in at 190 or 198 yen. That's a couple cents, man. Don't really know too much about this one, but it looks like it has some FMB type of stuff going on. And then we have the Great Adventure. Didn't catch the title there, but a Great Adventure something. This is a SRG, a strategy type of game, strategy RPG. And then this one, what do we have here? Tadaima Wakusei Kaita Kuchu. Looks like an interesting one. I have no idea what kind of game this could be. And then we have Dungeon Master Nexus. Now this one gives me vibes of From Software's Kingsfield. It's a shame that this one didn't get a release out in the West, as it does look cool. And we have Tactics Formula coming in at 1,078 yen. Kind of an interesting looking one. Now this next one, Anarchy in Nippon. The sequel was released on the PlayStation 1, but the first one was Sega Saturn. And I believe some of the people that made this were involved in the port of Virtua Fighter 2. This one looks pretty cool for a 3D fighter. But here's just like some more up close panning shots of what they have for the Sega Saturn. They have quite a bit of stuff, and the more you dig, the more you will find. And now the one thing too is a lot of these titles are available for the PlayStation 1 because the PlayStation 1 was well, it was ranked #1 in Japan during this time, and it's just a monster when it comes to its library. But there is a lot of good Saturn stuff here, like this Terra Cresta 3D. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I actually haven't played this, but this is one that I would like to play. It looks kind of interesting too. And the price, I was expecting the price to be higher on this one, but who knows if it's any good. But it's definitely one that I'll keep on my radar. Then what do we have here? I'm not really sure what that game to the right of Metal Slug is, but it looks pretty cool. Got a DX something. We got Stellar Assault coming in at 30,580 yen. I believe that was like one of the final Saturn releases. And then look at all these games. Just so much stuff here. And then if you notice, Sonic R has made it into the case. The price is going up on that bad boy. Or it could just be because it's Super Potato. And then here we have some more greatness. Look at all this. Astra Superstars coming in at 31,680 yen. Guardian Force coming in at another cool 30,000. We got 1999, which is also Power Slave. That one actually went up in price. And then we have the Sega Ages Disney collection here. Castle of Illusion and Quackshot. It's been ages since I've seen that one. Then we have Hyper Duel, 71,280 yen, and Battle Garaga. And then we have the Knights Bundle, and then this thing, I'm not really sure what that is. And then here, this is like another funky game that was at the Surugaya not too far from here. And it looks like to be some kind of puzzle game. A lot of puzzle stuff on the Sega Saturn. And then we'll end things here with this awesome Bomberman controller for the Sega Saturn. Looks freaking awesome. But that's going to be it for today's episode. A little short one, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. And there's definitely a lot more planned, a lot more coming, so keep tuned. Ciao.